Okay, so let's get started. And thank you so much for joining this Exploratory online seminar number 55. Today, I'd like to present Exploratory version 6.7, which we just released last Friday. So before getting started, let me introduce myself. My name is Kan Nishida, CEO at Oracle. We started Exploratory back in 2016 spring to democratize data science by building the desktop tool to make it easier to access data science methods and technologies to understand and use it to understand your data. Prior to starting Exploratory, I used to be working at Oracle as a development director, managing, building various data science related products. And also not only building the products, but I was at one point doing a consulting job, and then spreading the data science related products and also educating customers how to use those tools to understand their data better. Okay, so our vision is anyone should be able to make data-informed decisions. And the vision we are looking at is that this is not, this is a kind of statement today, but probably like it's going to be more common that, people don't even talk about. So we want to create a world where people, are data-informed, and then therefore they can make better decisions. And in order to do it, we take this mission seriously. So like we think we can democratize or we can contribute to democratize data science so that at the end, probably we don't even have to use the word data science. So when we said data science, this is what we mean. So you start with a business questions or business problem that you want to solve by using the data. So first you have to access the data, and then you transform and clean up the data. It's a data wrangling, and then you visualize or you analyze the data with machine learning or statistical algorithms, and then to find the patterns and trend, and then hopefully like you can find useful insights that help you answer the business questions or solve the problems. And then once you find such insights, then you want to, most of the case, you work with others like partners and customers, and then, other managers and so on. So therefore, like you want to share your insights with others in a very effective way. So this last piece and the communication is also equally important. So Exploratory provides this modern and simple UI to do these 5 tasks: data access, data wrangling, data visualization, and analytics, and communication. Okay, so that's a quick introduction about myself and Exploratory. So let's get started. Exploratory online seminar number 55, Exploratory version 6.7. We released last Friday. We've been releasing like every 2 or 3 months so far, and this is a 7th iteration in version 6. And then in this release, we touch pretty much everywhere. So we cover the data, we enhance the data access, wrangling, visualization, analytics, and then communication piece as well, especially around the dashboard. But today, I like to cover some of the highlights. That's something that I like to share with you. And then for the detail, there is a list of those enhancements and the new features in the release note as well. Okay, so let's start with the data source or data access. So we added a new data source called FRED, FRB economic data, and then we enhanced other area as well. So let's look at the FRED or economic data. This is provided by FRB, like America's central bank. And so this FRED website is pretty cool. Why? Because they collect about more than 800,000 economic data or metrics, right, from various places. And then you can access it through the API. So you could do it before in the Exploratory by writing our script, but writing our script is not as intuitive as you hope. So we provide, in this release, we provide it as a data source. So therefore, like all you need to do is just copy the code of each measure or each metric, and then click the button and you get that data. So let me just go through like how you want to start using it. So you go to this website called fred.sd Louis Fed. So St. Louis FED is a federal bank. So fed.org. And when you go to that website, you can quickly like search whatever the metrics you are interested in. But in order for you to use it, to extract the data from the Fred in Exploratory, you want to create your account and you want to get the API key. So you click on my account and then you can create a new account. And all you need to do is pretty much, it's very, very basic. You type the email, name, password, and pretty much that's it. And then you, and it's free, by the way. And then like once you get it, and then you're gonna see this menu under your My Account. And then there's the API keys. You go to the API keys and then just copy and paste. So this is the API key. You want to put it in the Exploratory later. Okay. And once you have this, and then you can access from the Cloud Apps data. And then in that, we added this Fred bracket economic data. Once you click on this, the first time you don't have create a connection yet. So you're going to be asked to enter that connection to Fred. And all you need to do is that type whatever the name for the connection name. I would go just like Fred or whatever. And then you remember that API key, you copy, you paste it here. And then you are actually ready to use. So the way you use it is, I'm going to just quickly move to demo from here. Okay, so first, of course, you got to find which metric you're interested in, right? So there are a bunch of different metrics. So let's say maybe like this, like a CPI, which is Consumer Pricing Index, which is a kind of indicator of inflation, which is actually really concerning for me. I'm sure like you guys as well at this moment. And so a bunch of different types of inflation metrics, but I'm going to just click on the first one. This is like a consumer price index for all urban consumers, basically like in US city average. And then, here's the chart. So if you want to see the trend of this particular metric, you don't even need an Exploratory. All you need is just to look at this one, and that's the end of the day. But the cool thing is to bring in Exploratory is a couple of things. One is you can actually combine with other metrics together. And two is you can use the data visualization and visualize this data in various ways instead of just the trend of the line chart. And lastly, you can actually schedule it by publishing it to our server, Exploratory server, cloud server. And then, you can receive the notification with a thumbnail to say, hey, every week or every month, this data is monthly, so you might want to schedule monthly. And then like you don't even have to go to this Fred website. Instead, like every end of the month or whatever the timing, like you will get notified. Okay, so having said that, so all I need to do is just copy and paste. Here is a code, okay? Or the same code is as part of the URL. So either way, I'm going to copy it and then come to the Exploratory, Cloud Apps data, select Fred, and then series ID. This is the ID. I just copy and paste. And start day, and then if you want to limit particular section, you can, but I would go with the default. That means all data. Then now I have all this data, right? So I don't have to do, uncheck or select or anything like that. I'm going to just click on the save button to import. And this one is, I'm going to just copy this ID and then basically CPI AUCSL. I have no idea what this is. So I'm going to just go like this, CPI_US. And create, and that means I just import it. And then it was about like 895 rows. And I'm going to quickly visualize this data by clicking on this create chart button. And then I'm going to switch to line chart. And this is a monthly data. So I'm going to change that like aggregation level to months. Y-axis, here's the thing. It says value. This is the column contains in this particular metric value. So this is a CPI. And then this one happened to be from the 1947. So that's a pretty quite long time. I'm interested in, let's say, like from 2000 or something. So I go here, change the filter setting, and then let's say greater than or equal to, and I'm going to select the year, and I just type 2000. Okay, so then all the data I'm looking at here is from 2000 to 2021. Okay, and then from here, what I want to do is it says some, but this is monthly data, so like it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna just make sure it's me. I don't want to accidentally adding up the numbers. Okay. And from here, what I also can do is I can bring same value, and I like to see like how that is changing. Another meme. How is that? Do you see here? Like it looks like that. If this like a CPI or inflation index is going jumped up, and is that like super abnormal jump? Like how much of the percentage? So the quick way to do it is go from the quick window calculation, and then difference from previous. And I like to do is percent difference. Right. So this actually particular menu, you can do more stuff by clicking on the green button or text. But here, like I have a difference from previous. And then another thing I like to do is I have these two, but this one is represented on the orange. And then it's almost like nothing's going on. That's because the scale is so different between this blue line and orange line. So I'm going to assign this percent difference to Y2 axis and assign to Y2 axis. And then looks much a little bit better. And then like this one is kind of like a super noisy. I'm going to change this marker, this orange part to be bar. Okay, so like I can change the marker here and then change that to bar. Here we go. And this looks a little bit better. So, okay, so like I have two measures and display together as well. And I can change that to, for example, like going back to the year. And then this is, how it is. Another cool thing is this is not the new feature in 6.7, but we have added it maybe 2 releases ago, is that these two measures, I can actually separate this chart into 2 and 1 for each measure. What that means, like under the repeat by, I can select this each y-axis. And then now like I have those 2 charts and up, up and bottom. Okay, so this is a inflation stuff. And then another thing, so this is, like you can flexibly visualize the data, not just looking at as, the one line chart. Another cool thing is, so let's say this, what I did was basically CPI or inflation index, right? Another thing is there's some called M2. This is like money supply, or how much of the money being circulated in the market, maybe like in a bank deposit, whatever. So that's sort of like an indication of like, how much the federal government, or I'm sorry, FRB is printing the money, but somehow has not been really used. So let's say like here's M2 money stock, and this jump is kind of concerning, but that's not the point here. I'm gonna I want to bring this data into the exploratory and see the relationship between this CPI or inflation index and M2, right? So all I need to do, again, I'm gonna copy this. Okay, this is the code. And then like, I'm gonna go back to the exploratory and import that data. And if you're not interested in, inflation, you might be bored, but just bear with me. Any metric like GDP, unemployment rate, you can actually bring in here as well. So what I want to do here, I'm going to quickly bring in this data. This one is M2, like week or something, right? And then one thing I got to be careful here. So this one is it's not like a monthly data. This is actually weekly data, but I want to join with this data. So then I can bring in those 2 metrics in one single chart, right? So like what I want to do is using this date column and then join them together. Then I want to have another metric here, like M2. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay, let's then to do, I have to go here first, and then like I want to summarize this data by the monthly, not the weekly. So from the summarize, and then instead of yearly, I want to summarize by months and then bring in this value data. Okay. And I'm going to just call it, this one is M2. Okay. And run. So here it is. So this is now monthly aggregated data. I'm going to go back to the CPI US, and then I'm going to use this date column to join. And then select the, here we go, M2 week, and then date column and date column. And then click run button. So now I have the new M2 column. You see a bunch of NA here, but that is sort of expected actually, because that this M2 weekly data starts from, I think about like, I forgot where that is, like 1980 or something like that. So they don't have the M2 data for like 40s and 50s and 60s and stuff. Okay, so that's expected. So that's why like, there's sometimes a missing value here and then there's a value here. But what I wanted to do is create a chart, and let's say like a line chart. And then I'm gonna assign date, and then again, this monthly. And the y-axis value is, this value is a CPI. And then another one is M2. And then, what's going on here? Okay, that's good. And then like, I want to filter the data to be doing the same thing, basically. I should have a copy, but that's fine. And then I want to see after 2000. And then, so this is the, whoa, that's a kind of crazy curve. Is this like, let me see, what is WM2? Okay, so this is, I want to make sure what I'm doing is, okay, here you go. I was using the sum. So instead of like this one should have been the average, because I was adding all those M2 numbers, even though this like a, should have been like a average. So like I wanted to get the monthly average instead of like summing up all the average values. So then go back in here and then chart. Okay, so now looks better. So again, these two are in a different scale. So I want to make sure like use it Y1 and Y2. I'm going to assign M2 to Y2. And in this way, now like I can see those two metrics and the relationship, like how that is going on. And from here, like I can do, for example, doing like using the window calculation, like difference from the beginning or different from the previous. Even I can apply trend lines. So let's say, for example, this CPI. I can apply, for example, trend line, whatever that could be, like a linear regression, straight line, or whatever. And you can do, create these types of things. So this one is only like I'm using 2 metrics, but it could be like you can have like 10 or 20 metrics, and then you can try to find, correlation among those measures. So you can do a lot of things, but another thing is once you create this, and then if you're interested in this chart, or you can create a dashboard, or you can maybe interested in just this data itself, because then you can use it for other people can use it, download this data, Excel or something like that. Then you can publish, click on this publish button. Okay. And then once you publish, then you can schedule it at the server, and then you can share it with other, like your teammates. And then they can download, they can access the data from API, export the API, and so on. Okay, so that's the FRB economic data. And we're pretty excited about this because if you happen to be students, economic data is, like you want to understand like GDP or employment rate or whatever, but it's kind of hard to find or, data or bring in the data. But now this is like super easy and also super easy to monitor. And not just the students, if you're a researcher or if you are working at the business environment, but you want to bring in some data to see the correlation between, whatever the metrics like GDP or, employment rate and your sales data. Okay, so that's FRB data. Another area we enhance is around the data source. and data access is when you import CSV or Excel data, and then sometimes the data type doesn't come as expected. So you usually, like, you import the data, then you can start converting the data type as part of the data wrangling step. But we added this in the data import dialog. So but we start with a very simple one. So like if you, hey, this is like a numeric column, but somehow has registered the character, and you can switch the data type as well. In this release, though, for something like especially the date and time, is that it expects the year, month, date order. And as you might have known, like once you import the data, and even the date information comes as like a date, month, year, or month, date, year, or something like that, you can convert from the menu. But in this data import dialog, you can't do that yet. But that is something that we are thinking about adding that next release. But at this basic stuff, and typically, like when you have a lot of NA or missing values, especially like for the first 1,000 rows of missing value or NA, and then you start having like, character or numbers kind of column. And it used to be like it was considered as logical data type, and then with all the values being NA. And if for something like that, especially like you want to say, for example, oh, hey, this is a character, or this is a numeric, or something like that. So you can explicitly set the data type in the data import dialog. Okay. And if you happen to be the Google Analytics users, so they added something called V4. Like, so anything before that was a V3 hub. I never really realized that version number with the Google Analytics, but they recently, maybe like last 6 months, a year or so, they added this V4, and they have changed a little structure. I mean, like maybe a supported set of measures and then dimensions. So therefore, we now support V4. You should be able to download the data even when you Google Analytics V4 with a new dimension and measures. Okay. Another thing we did is the like time period setting. So before you could say like last 3 months or last 3 years and so on, but now we added this between operator so that you can set like start and end, and then to subset that data from the Google Analytics. Another thing is database data sources. We added this thing called ODBC bracket legacy. We recommend you to use ODBC, the normal ODBC, which is like left-hand side. But sometimes, we found some of the data set don't really work well. So this ODBC bracket legacy is the one like we used to have in the prior kind of older versions. It's before 6.5. And then I think around like 6.5 or 6.5.1, like we switched to the new ODBC, as a back engine. And then somehow some database stopped not really working. So therefore, in that case, to make those database work, we added this ODBC legacy. So if you're not sure, like I recommend you to start using ODBC. And then if you have a problem, I recommend trying this ODBC legacy. So far, we know the Teradata Aster, and also another thing called Kinton. This is popular in Japan. I'm not sure in the US or Europe, Latin America, and Africa. But again, if it's not working, it's the best thing you can do is contact us. They will help you which one works. Okay. So another enhancement is a chart area. So pivot table it turned out to be the most used chart type. It's amazingly like we often emphasize the data visualization. But then when I talk to many of the users, and they usually show me the pivot table. So I think this is very common. So we wanted to make it easier to use it. So that's what we did. And there are other areas as well. Okay, let's go one by one. So pivot table. The biggest thing is, I'm going to go with a demo on this one as well. The biggest thing is multiple measure support. So when I go to the chart, and then let's create a new chart. And then here, the typical stuff, right? So I'm going to just go with maybe, product category, and then I'm going to select product subcategory, and then maybe the value is sales. Okay. And then the column, that's the pivot tables kind of special thing. Then maybe like I'm going to add the customer segment or something like that. Okay. So, so now I have the rows and the 2 levels, and then the columns, and then the value. So one thing we did was to add, so for you to be able to add more than one measure. So here only I have sales, I can add the marketing, for example. So now like a sales and the marketing are presented for each group of customer segment. I can start adding even more as well. Okay, so now I have like a bunch of stuff for each value of each column. Okay, and then also another thing we did was to make it easier to format. So it's much like if you have used a summarized table, basically we bring the same experience to this pivot table. So for example, the value, there's a formatting menu. And from here, maybe I can change that column name, and also let's say like a number format. So make sure like a decimal digit is always 2 instead of like 1. And then visual formatting. So I like to show the bar, and if I click on apply, and then now it's showing these bars. And then another cool thing is, so you can select that sort of like effective area. For example, right now, this like a direction is all down the across. That means sales total are from this first row to all the way down. And based on these values, and it's showing the height of the bar in a relative way. Okay, so this is storage happened to be the biggest, and the next one is probably this chairs, right? So you see, you can kind of compare through the subcategory and category lines. However, sometimes you might want to do only within. So for example, I want this bar chart to be representing only for the furniture in terms of relative range. Then I can change the direction to be, for example, column down within group, for example. And if I click on apply, and then you see here the furniture, the chairs happen to be the biggest, like the largest. So therefore the bar is the highest. But this height of the bar and then this height of the bar represent in a different context, because now that this formatting range, like effective area is in each group. Okay, but so depends how you want to present the data. You have these options. Okay, so another thing, maybe, and I can do other things, right? So here, like maybe like marketing, and I want to actually change, instead of showing the bar, I want to change the color of the background, or maybe the text, and then I can do that as well. And then all sorts of options, like I want to set minus to be a different way. Then you can use a condition as well. So this is like visual formatting. Okay. And then another cool thing is I assign the sales comp, but I can assign, for example, the categorical column, right? So for example, let's say like I want to say bring the country, and the default is a unique number of the countries, but I want to actually show the country name itself and how. Well, I want to pick the most common country for each product category to see, for example, I have the bookcase, and which country has the highest, frequently order or something like that. So then I can use this mode function, most frequent function. And I see, like, for example, most products in the United States, customers from the United States are the highest. However, something like a copiers, somehow like it's, Australia order this particular, product category more than the United States. So, and I can use that and then assign the color as well even for categorical. And then, maybe, I don't know, using, different type of color scheme, and then nicely format a pivot table. By the way, it's not only that measures, even like rows as well, like you can actually format here. And then like I can give the name, different, different color as well. Okay, so that's the pivot table. I think I think we enhance significantly with this release, but it's basically if you are coming from summarized table, basically now you can do same thing. And the cool thing is you can go between pivot table and summarized table. Of course, if you go to the summarized table at this point, and then this column setting is going to be removed because summarized table doesn't have a column. But otherwise, all the formatting stuff will be preserved. Okay. And another thing is, this is something that I have shown a little bit already. Let's say like if I create the chart and then start using the window calculation moving average and showing the reference line and showing the trend line. And sometimes, hey, you know what? Like I don't really need this reference line. Before you had to go to the reference line and then select none. And then that is sometimes too much of the steps. So now we added this X button, so you can just delete it right away. It's sort of like shortcut delete, and it's added it as well. Okay. So the last not least, actually, this is second from the last. So another topic is analytics. In analytics, we enhance other area as well, but these are two things I think is a significant update. Number one is enhancements for word count, and then number two, the document clustering with topic model. This is actually pretty exciting stuff. And then I think text analysis or text mining, some folks call it, it hasn't been really democratized yet. So it's still somewhat kind of mysterious field. However, we are finding like a lot of people have the text data, not just like a tweet type of data, but also when you do the survey and then you ask other survey participants to enter like free text form, and then like you want to see like what type of the words being used and which users are kind of similar. You can maybe categorize those users or your customers and so on based on like that input text information. So therefore, we added these, the last one, the document clustering with topic model. So let's take a look at it one by one. So here, for example, I have this like YouTube trending data. This one is a little short, and you can, of course, like, longer one as well. But I'm going to use this one because this one is kind of easier to see what that really is. So this one is kind of a little bit old, 2017 or 18, and then they released this data of all the YouTube trending video data. So here's a title. And then what I want to do is I want to see like what type of the words use common or popular. And then based on that, also like I want to sort of like a cluster these YouTube and see like what are the topics that they usually talk about based on the title information. Okay, so first, what words are used, right? So before this, I have to be careful when I go here, the title, when I see this like a text data, but somehow it says 10, that means duplicated. So I'm going to remove these duplicated entries, right? Same title somehow. So from the filter, and then this is remove duplicated rows. And here, this is also the enhancement in this release. We added this all columns. That means it checks all the columns. And if all the columns are exactly the same, and it will keep only the first one and then remove the rest. But sometimes not the first one, maybe, it's like some other column might have some different value, like, entry date is different. In that case, you can just select columns only for the title, this case, and then use this one to evaluate if these rows are duplicated or not. Okay, so now I have this, like about 4,000 rows, and then I want to store it, go to the analytics. And first, let's do under the text analysis and start with this word count. And then all I need to do is assign the title and then click the run button. And then behind the scene, it tokenized, meaning split into words, and then, but also removing some of the pre-registered stop words. and then showing what are the frequently used words. First with this word cloud chart. Okay. And then I can see like official video trailer new, and these are the words being used often. And then from here, I can see like go to the words bar, and then these are the basically, I like this bar chart because I can really see like which word are more used compared to others in the relative form. And then another cool thing is this word pair. So which words are used together? For example, trailer and official. Probably this is like official trailer, right? So this is like HD trailer and a video music. So and Star Wars here. So these are the words used often in the title. Probably Star Wars kind of makes sense. Okay, and with this data, I can go to the network, and then what are the relationship, among those words. So for example, here, like official video and music. So something about like a music video, right? And maybe official meaning like maybe, I don't know, Jay-Z or whatever the musician is. And then maybe like official video for those artists. And then here, looks like hours and the music. There's a strong line here. So this has probably some relationship. And then with this release, we added this color that represents sort of like kind of a clustering of the words. So based on the strengths of this relationship. Okay, and then you see here is a pink area. There's like a Star Wars, and then it seems like only Star Wars in the pink, but also the star has a relationship with game. But the game looks like there's like a big and highlights and a weak. There's like a kind of purple color has more, seems like a stronger relationship between. So therefore, it presents in a different color. And then I see here the green, the Super Bowl, and then these seems to be like used together. And here, movie review, something about the movie, that's also seems like used in a different color as well. And then another thing we can do is, for example, here is the FT, and this is probably featuring or something like that. And maybe this one is not really, useful. If you think that, then, whatever the word, it's considered stop words. So you can add those stop words. So here, additional stop word, that means if I type here, like let's say, this is like a lowercase, uppercase, doesn't matter. But if I type here, then it will remove this word and then find, the relationship or the frequent numbers for each word as well. So let's try to do this. And then another thing though, sometimes you don't want that to be separated. I think this is for sometime, so for example, data science. In this case, what I'm gonna do, Star Wars. Hey, so like, I don't want this Star Wars to be separate. That's one word. So you can actually go Star Wars and then click on this. And then Star Wars is going to be presented as a one word because that it doesn't have to be separated. So let's see here, now like Star Wars as a one word. Okay, and then looks like a Star Wars and Jedi and the movie, and these are the same group. And another thing is that FT is gone because I just removed it from as a stop word. So you can start kind of modifying, so-called dictionary, and then start working on these, charts to understand what texts are in your data. Okay, so this is the word count and a quick, in a nutshell. Another thing we did is I'm going to just copy from here, duplicate. So then all the information, like all the property information is being copied. So from here, what I want to do is use the new one here, the text analysis and text clustering with topic model. So this one is, let me just introduce, talk about a little concept of it quickly. So that this topic model, especially topic model has different models, but usually when we say topic model, most of the time it's that the model used is this thing called LDA, latent correct allocation. It always makes it so hard for me to pronounce this word, but that's what it is. LDA. It's a statistical modeling that automatically discovers the latent topics in a collection of documents with probability. So what that means, so usually the one that we did was a word count, right? So like you have the documents is in this case, each row or YouTube title can be the tweet or can be the survey. In the survey case, each customers' comments, right? And then so that's considered a document. So you have 4 people or 4 YouTube titles and whatever. And from there, you extract the words. And then, you remove those stop words. Let's say like this or that kind of stuff that happens in, that can be that can show up in many documents. So we remove those stop words. And then like, these are the words that seems to be like kind of significant, right? So that's what we were working on. So now like what we want to do is to apply this LDA topic model. What it's going to do is find some like a latent topic. So let's say, hey, some words are more related than the other set of the words, and probably this is something about it. These words are talking about something about it. And in this case, for example, happen to be soccer, and then the other words are more like the basketball or something like that. And by the way, the LDA is not going to give you what this is, what this topic is, but it just tell you, hey, this is seems like a different topic from others. Then you as a human will give the name or label at each topic. So the result is going to be made, let's say the topic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you ended up giving like, hey, this is politics, this is entertainment, this is news or something like that. Okay, and the cool thing about this is it's kind of clustering, but it's different from the clustering like K-mean clustering. Why? Because at the top, the doc 1, doc 2, doc 3, doc 4, that can be customer A, B, C, D. And when you apply K-mean clustering type of clustering, then all of them will be assigned a one cluster, right? So A becomes a cluster 1, B becomes a cluster 1, and then the C person become cluster 2 or something like that. You cannot belong to multiple clusters. But this LDA is based on the probability. What that means is each document, each customer, each YouTube title can belong to multiple topics, but different degree. So maybe left-hand side of the document, this is like a long text, but this one, maybe like can be extracted as different words. And then it will give you, hey, this document is like maybe like a 33% is more topic 1, and then maybe like 8% is topic 2, and 7% is topic 3. So it can be belong to multiple things, but probably the most sort of like a highest weight is the topic 1. And think of it that you go to the YouTube and you give the tag, and then the tag can be like, let's say like machine learning or something like that. But also you might want to give the statistics as a tag, right? So it's basically this very similar concept of the tagging. Okay. So having said that, here, what I want to do is switch that to this text analysis, text clustering with topic model, and select the text column. I don't have to change it, and then click run button. And what this is going to do is try to find how many topics. Default is 3, and that is like something you have to tell. You have to decide. So I think that most useful one is this important words of topic. So now it creates topic 1, 2, 3. And now me as a human have to figure out what topics are. So for example, first one looks like this, like a show and news and watch and live and ESPN and Trump and okay, so those are something to do with news, and because there's an ESPN, maybe like something to do with sports. And the second one, it looks like a trailer, video, official, music. And so, okay, so this may be like something to the music. The last one is makeup, review, cake, Star Wars, seems like a little like more fashion stuff, maybe. So this is topic 3. I'm going to extend the number of topic to 6 to just create more topics. Then maybe we can find like more significantly different topics. That's what I'm hoping. And change that to 3 columns view. Okay, let's do it again. So here, this one's like a news, Black Year Time talk show. Okay, something to do with maybe the news, but there's a movie and dog, so that's kind of interesting. And the cat. Okay, so maybe like movie and cat type of video. I don't know. So here is American Hours, something to do with maybe the show, and then this one Jedi. Okay, here this is Star Wars Jedi. So this one, it's kind of interesting, but it seems like a movie or something. And the last one is a bowl review, beauty. So this is where makeup and beauty and on a tutorial. So maybe like that type of like a fashion, not fashion, but like makeup related movies. And so on. And then here, topic 4 is more to do with the music, official video trailer, music stuff. Okay, lyrics. Okay, so then I can actually label this. And then like another, so from here, once we know like which topic, what each topic represent, you can adjust like a number of the topics. Then you can see each topic, what type of the things being said. So topic 1, we thought this is more like a news. So maybe like, oh, okay. So these are the documents that are classified as topic 1. And then you remember something that to do with, this is like a kind of makeup related stuff. Also Super Bowl is there. That's kind of interesting. That's topic 6. And when I go to topic 6, okay, so these are the things, maybe this is like something about your toe. This is something about, I don't know, this is like a blind audition. I thought there was something more interesting thing. Okay, so here's a Super Bowl, that's why. Then this is like a facelift. Okay, so maybe that's why there's something related to the cosmetic, maybe. And then you can change this, for example, document with topics default to 10. You can actually expand it to maybe like a 30 samples this, based on the proportion. So this number is, for example, this particular document is 83% of the probability that belongs to topic 1. So that means maybe like 70%, maybe like some other topics, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. Okay, and then you can see more detail by using the topic of documents. And for example, this particular document is 86% is like a topic 6. But then like 3% for topic 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not like just one discrete group. It can belong to multiple groups. But typically, it really leaning towards to like one particular topic with a high weight, high percentage. Okay, and then once you get this data, and then you have the original data, right? So, and then got the last part is like a topic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can download this data, or you can create the new data frame and then decide, hey, this one is, for example, this person is topic 4. And then, okay, so this, in this case, YouTube title, but this can be your survey data. Then each document is each of your customer. And then you can kind of classify your customer into multiple groups. And then maybe you can consider like what type of the communication you want to make and so on. Okay. So that's the topic model. And okay. And the last not least is a data wrangling. So you can actually, so what we have seen is under the analytics view, and then you can tokenize the text, and then you can create a word cloud chart or network chart, or even you can create a topic model and so on. But you can create, you can tokenize the text as a data wrangling step. And so that's something that we have done, oops, here. This one that used to be there, and then we enhance this to improved the performance dramatically. I think now it's almost like a 3 to 5 times faster compared to before. And then also added more properties like we saw. So like something to do with the stop words, so that you can add more words to the stop words dictionary, or you can remove from the pre-created stop word dictionary. And also you can set like, hey, these are the words that should supposed to be considered as one word. So like Star Wars or something like that. You can register from here as well. Another thing is a date calculation. So when you have like a starting date and end date, sometimes you want to just subtract, sometimes you want to do, maybe the order date, the ship date, so the ship to order or something like that. And then now like you have this between option. Okay. And then other thing is, sorry. Here, and then a filter, like now like the contain operator, you can pass multiple candidates. And then another thing is the support remove extra space in the text wrangling UI. And then the last one is keep only unique rows. And that's something that I showed you already. So like it's make it easier to select all the columns to evaluate if the given row is duplicated rows or not. Okay, so that's the data wrangling enhancements. And okay, so that's it for the introduction of the new features. And it's already at the download page. So you can download, and if you're Mac, like Mac Intel or Mac M1, there are 2 different variations, and then Windows. One thing we don't have is if you happen to be in the public, and then we still haven't made it available yet. So you might want to wait for another week or so. But if you happen to be personal, business, and community plan, then you can download today. So please try, and then let us know how it is for you. Okay. And then lastly, and for the online seminar, next week we are planning to do is, I think it was like something to do with survey data, but you can check the future schedules under the LAN online seminar, as well as you can check past seminar recording. Okay, and also under the LAN, you can find like how to tutorial notes or how to video as well. This is where we keep publishing new contents. Okay, that's it for today. And if you have any questions or feedback, please let me know. Okay.